When you board a plane and see the cabin crew, you probably think of a few things, right? Drinks, maybe a meal, a friendly smile. But what if I told you that their most important job is the one you hope they never have to do? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on their real responsibilities, the ones that are all about keeping you safe.
So, what are they actually trained for? I'll tell you right now, it goes way, way beyond customer service. And the answer is written down in a document that almost no passenger ever gets to see.
And this is it, the cabin crew manual. You can think of this as their secret Bible for absolutely everything that could possibly go wrong at 35,000 feet. So by taking a look inside this thing, we're going to uncover what it really takes to be a flight attendant.
First off, their job starts long before you even step on the plane. There's this whole flight before the flight, you could call it. It's a whole series of really meticulous preparations, and every single one is designed to handle the unexpected. It all begins with the numbers. And as you can see here, the number of crew on board has absolutely nothing to do with serving snacks efficiently. It's actually a legally required safety ratio. It's all based on the type of aircraft, and it's calculated to make sure there are enough crew members to get everyone out safely and quickly in an emergency. And before every single departure, they're on the plane running through these intense checks. They're making sure every piece of emergency gear, from fire extinguishers down to the flashlights, is there, that it works, and that it's ready to go. They even review the cabin maintenance log to know about any little quirks or defects with that specific plane. Seriously, nothing is left to chance. And that training is so important. Take this piece of gear, for instance, the protective breathing equipment, or PBE. This is what they have to use to fight a fire in a smoke-filled cabin. They are trained to do this from pure muscle memory, following these exact steps, because in a real fire, under that much pressure, there is just no time to stop and read the instructions. Okay, so what happens when the emergency isn't with the plane itself, but with the person? Well, this is where the cabin crew basically transforms into first responders in the sky. Now, they're not totally alone up there. They have this incredible lifeline called MedLink. It's a direct satellite phone from the cockpit to a medical advisory service on the ground that's available 24/7. It gives them real-time access to actual emergency doctors who can walk them through really complex medical situations. And their training is for stuff that is way more serious than a simple headache. Let's say a passenger complains about really bad abdominal pain. The manual trains the crew to consider some pretty serious possibilities. Things like appendicitis, kidney stones, or even a life-threatening ectopic pregnancy. Their assessment right there in the aisle is absolutely vital for the MedLink doctors on the other end of the line. And believe me, they are equipped for this stuff. If you were to look inside their first aid kit, you'd find a lot more than just some Band-Aids. They carry specific medications, splints for broken bones, and even things like airway tubes to manage a whole range of medical problems until the plane can get on the ground. I mean, the sheer scope of their training is just incredible. They have to know how to handle severe allergic reactions, choking, what to do if a person goes into shock. They're even trained in the procedures for assisting with childbirth if it comes to that. They truly are the first line of medical response up in the air. All right, now let's raise the stakes. We're going to move from a contained medical issue with one person to a full-blown aircraft emergency where every single second is absolutely critical. A rapid decompression. To really understand just how dangerous this is, we have to talk about a critical term from the manual, time of useful consciousness, or TUC. This is the terrifyingly short window of time you have to take action before the lack of oxygen makes you physically incapable of helping yourself. Just look at these numbers. At a typical cruising altitude of 35,000 feet, a flight attendant has just 30 seconds of useful consciousness. 30. Go up to 40,000 feet, and it drops to a shocking 18 seconds. This is precisely why their training for this is so relentlessly drilled into them. And this leads to the single most important rule of a decompression event. Their first action is not to help you. It's to save themselves. They are trained to immediately, without thinking, grab the nearest oxygen mask. It might sound a little selfish, but think about it for a second. An unconscious crew member is no help to anyone. And finally, we get to the most extreme, most unlikely scenario of all. It's the one we all hope never, ever happens. But if it does, what are they trained to do after an emergency landing somewhere that isn't an airport? For the cabin crew, a successful evacuation isn't the end of their job. It's actually the beginning of a brand new one.
Their priority immediately pivots from in-flight safety to post-crash survival. In that moment, they become the leaders of a group of survivors.
And they have a clear, drilled action plan for this kind of chaos. The manual gives them their priorities: secure the area by moving everyone away from the wreckage, take care of the injured, create signals to get found, find water, and build shelter. It's a methodical approach to one of the most stressful situations you can possibly imagine.
You know, this quote from the water survival section, it really highlights the human side of all their training. The procedures aren't just about the physical part of survival. They're about maintaining morale, about using teamwork to stay alive.
So after getting this little peek inside their manual, from all the pre-flight checks to medical emergencies and even post-crash survival, I'll just leave you with this question. The next time you're on a plane, will you see your cabin crew just a little bit differently? You'll know that when they ask you to put your seat up for landing, it's not just some random rule. It's a tiny little reminder of the deep, rigorous safety training that, hopefully, you will never ever need.